This is the all-new BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe, and it's an alternative to a Mercedes CLA or Audi A3 Saloon. And in this video, I'm going to tell you all you need to know about it, whether it's any good, and if you should consider buying one, or whether you should recommend it to your friends or family if they need a new car. First off, let's talk about the price. So the 2 Series Gran Coupe starts from just under £26,000. Now, to make sure you're paying a fair price for one, what you want to do is go to Carwow, which is your one-stop shop car comparison website where you can compare offers, you can compare reviews of cars and loads of different stuff. In fact, if you click on the pop-out banner up there, you can download our new app for free. Go do it. Like I say, it's free. Why wouldn't you? Okay, let's talk about this car's design. It's got a new style BMW grille, and the front, I think it looks pretty cool. I like it. This is the range-topping 235i, so it has more aggressive bumpers with lots of scoops and vents, and the vents are real. They do stuff. Now, as we move down the side, you'll see that they've tried to create shape by giving it various lines, and I'm trying to illustrate that to you now with dirt on it. We've got that on there on purpose. We're not being lazy, not cleaning the car. Tell you the truth, right? I'm on a launch. I've got 4 hours to shoot this car. We've had to find a location. This is the best we could do, and it's got dirty. So you're just going to have to bear with us. I'm sorry. Anyway, I don't like it from this angle. It just doesn't look coupe enough. Here's a sketch of the concept. This is the real thing. I'm a little bit disappointed. Once again, being the M235i, you've got some more skirty side skirts and different alloy wheel designs. I quite like the back. I like the shape of the lights. I like this bar across here. I like the fact that I'm going to have to use the carwow umbrella of truth. It has been raining today. There is a real exhaust in there, but there is a fake surround that kind of tries to make it look a little bit bigger than it is. It's a bit like putting a sock down your pants to deceive. Here on the inside, it's just like the 1 Series. So fairly nice design, not as flamboyant or as modern feeling as a Mercedes CLA, but still good. And the quality, I think, deep down is better than the Mercedes. Everything just feels solid. Yeah, things do get a bit scratchy low down, but generally, I think this is the best made interior in this class, and everything's really easily laid out. So your driving stuff's there, your climate stuff's there, your infotainment stuff's there. Dead easy. Driving position's good as well, nice and comfy. Lots of adjustment in it as well if you need it. The seats are good. There's very little for me to complain about, which is unusual. This 2 Series Gran Coupe pretty much has the same interior dimensions as the 1 Series in terms of knee room, so it's all right. It does have a lower roofline though, which means that if I sit dead straight, my head does just touch. However, it does mean that people over 6 foot may find it a bit cramped back here. If you need to carry 3 at once, then there is a bit of a hump in the floor, but it's not too bad compared to bigger BMWs. But headroom in the middle is not good at all. So you wouldn't want to carry 3 in the back here that often, but then it's the same for the Audi A3 Saloon and the Mercedes CLA, to tell you the truth. The 2 Series Gran Coupe's boot is 50 litres bigger than the 1 Series boot, so it has 430 litres. As a comparison, an Audi A3 Saloon has 390 litres, so yay for the BMW. But Mercedes CLA has 460 litres, so boo for the BMW. It's still good enough though, and it's a nice square shape as well. There's hardly any load lip, so you can slide things out, and I'll just whack this on my back while I show you under here. There's some extra storage there. You've got some nettage going on there to keep things from rolling around, 12-volt socket and a hook to hang stuff off. Now, the boot opening for a Saloon is actually quite wide, but if you need to carry long, big, tall boxes, you probably will be better off with the 1 Series hatchback. And if you click on the pop-out banner up there, you can watch my full in-depth video review of that car. Let's talk about engines. So the entry-level model is the 218i. It has a 1.5 litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine. You can get that with a 6-speed manual gearbox or a 7-speed automatic. Then there's the 220d, which has a 2-litre diesel, which comes with an 8-speed automatic. Then there's the 228i, which has a 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine, which we don't get in the UK. That also comes with an 8-speed automatic. And then there's this one here. It's the 235i, and it has a 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine with 306 horsepower and 450 newton meters of torque. BMW says this car will do 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. But will it? Will it really? Let's find out. I'm going to launch it. I've got my specialist timing gear there. Put the car into sports mode for the gearbox, sports mode for the engine, traction control into sports mode as well. Left foot on the brake, floor the throttle, launch control engaged. Let's do it. Oh, that's good. It's slightly damp, the surfaces, and yet that hauled ass. The Germans, they were lying. It did 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Sneaky fibbing buggers. However, when the English fib or lie about the performance figures of their cars, they usually lie in the opposite direction to the Germans. Now, if you want to see how this 0 to 60 time compares to that of a Mercedes CLA AMG 35 or an Audi S3 Saloon, click on the pop-out banner up there to watch my video of those two cars. It's interesting, promise. In the UK, you'll be able to get this car with 3 different equipment levels, and the entry-level model is called the Sport, and it gets front and rear parking sensors, 17-inch alloy wheels, and climate control. Next up is the M Sport version, and it gets an upgraded infotainment system with a larger screen and fully digital dials rather than analog dials with a little digital screen in between them of the entry-level car. And then there's some various interior trims such as an M Sport steering wheel, leather upholstery, and 18-inch alloy wheels. The range topper is the M235i, and that gets upgraded sports brakes, which you can actually fit as an option to the M Sport versions. It also has M235i sill plates and bespoke sport seats. Obviously, as a BMW, you can get plenty of options as well. So what to look out for is the tech pack, which has loads of gadgets such as a really good heads-up display. Then there's the comfort pack, which includes things such as heated steering wheel and electrically operated seats. And of course, all this does add to the price. So if you want to see how much you can save on a BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe, you want to go to carwow and use our configurator to build your ideal car. Now, if you don't want to do that, what I've already done is actually built what I believe is the best engine and trim combination of BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe and got the fair prices from our carwow dealers. And if you click on the pop-out banner up there, you can see what those are. This car's infotainment system is really good. It's got a nice crisp screen. It's easy to navigate as well. You can use the icons down the side, use it as a touch screen. You can use the swivel wheel controller if you want to. There's even the option to use gesture controls for certain things, such as the stereo volume. As for the digital driver's display, it's all right. It's okay. Displays enough information, but I don't like the way the revs go backwards, and it's a bit dark and dingy. I actually prefer the infotainment system you now get on the Mercedes CLA. I think it's just that little bit better. Yeah, I did really say that. In fact, if you want to see my full in-depth video review of the Mercedes CLA, click on the pop-out banner up there to watch the video. You can get the car with BMW's personal assistant, which is a bit like Apple's Siri or Google's Assistant. So you can control things with various voice commands, and it's supposed to understand normal speech. So let's find out. Hey BMW.
Hello. What can I help you with?
Can I get a blowjob?
This function is currently not available.
Story of my life. The interior ambient lighting on this car is quite clever because it actually shines through bits of the interior trim. Also, if you have higher spec versions, you can change the colour, and there's 6 different ones to choose from. I think I'll go for lilac. You can get this car with BMW's reversing assistant, so if you make an error and go down a one-way street by mistake, like, oh, is this right? Well, I'm a bit lost, I don't know where I'm going. And then you suddenly need to turn around because you realise your mistake. Oh, damn, look at this. Now I need to do a 3-point turn. But wait, I don't. I have that reversing assistant. So I put the car into reverse. I press this button. The car will have remembered my steering inputs for the last 50 metres. It's playing in reverse. All I have to do is control the speed. Oh, I'm actually going a bit quickly, better slow down. Question is 50 metres going to be enough to get me out of here? No, it's not. Bugger. System's kind of good, but could do with being longer. That's what she said. There's a whole range of connectivity available with this car. You can connect your phone via Bluetooth. There's Wi-Fi hotspot. Also, you can get wireless charging down there. There's normal USB down here. 12-volt socket for the old-fashioned people. And in the back, there's 2 USB-Cs for the younger generation. There's decent in-car storage in this 2 Series, so the front door bins are nice and large. There's some cup holders here in the front, a little bit of storage space under there if you need some more room, and the glove box is average. In the back, the rear door bins are very, very spacious, and you've got these pockets on the seat backs, plus if you fold the armrest down, you then have some cup holders there. That wasn't very neatly done, but you get the idea. If you need to pack in a long item, then don't worry, this car can do a bit of a 3-way. 1-way, 2-way, and 3-way. That's obviously what I was talking about, guys. This could be an ideal car for you if you have triplets, because there's 3 different places you can mount a child seat. You see, you can get it with ISOFIX anchor points here in the front, which is handy. The points in the back are actually very easy to get to because they're under flip-up covers. The door opens quite wide. There should be enough room back there as well to fit even a bulky rear-facing seat. There could be a problem to get it through the door because of the way there's a little bit of ingress higher up in the door aperture. Because this car has the word Coupé in its name, it has frameless windows, which look really cool. What's less cool though is that the frameless windows in the back only go down this far. While this model is called a 2 Series, it's not rear-wheel drive like the 2 Series Coupé. That's a different car. This is actually based on the 1 Series underneath the skin, so it's front-wheel drive mainly, though range-topping versions do get 4-wheel drive. To help make this car handle as well as possible, they've tried to keep the weight down, so the bonnet and the boot are made out of aluminium. Also, they've fitted extra bracing to it to keep it nice and stiff. So you have a special brace called a boomerang brace, which helps stiffen up the front of the car. The M235i actually has some extra bracing as well and stiffer anti-roll bars. You can get the car with 3 different suspension setups. So there's the normal, then there's the lowered stiffened version on the M Sport, and then there's further and stiffened further version on this M235i. And you can have all versions with adaptive dampers if you pay extra. This car has an improved traction control system which can respond faster, so it feels a bit more natural when you're driving it and doesn't cut in quite so obtrusively. This M235i version has a limited slip differential fitted to the front axle, and that can send power to the wheel at the front with the most grip to help drive you through corners. Now then, it's time for the CarWow 5 annoying things about this car. Being a saloon rather than a hatchback, you don't have a rear screen wiper, which means that you can't see out when it's raining. It does clear when you're going to speed on the motorway, but in town you're going to have to go like that. The side skirts on the sporty model stick out somewhat, so if they get covered in dirt, so too will the backs of your trousers when you get in and out. This part of the door sticks out from the glass, so when you open it you don't realise that, and it can catch you in the body and oh dear, I've spit myself on the car. Have you got a bad back? Well, you're probably going to need a car with lumbar support, won't you? Thing is though, on this BMW, it's optional on every single model, even this rather expensive range-topping version. You can get the 2 Series with something called Mikey, which allows you to open your car with your mobile phone. That is if your mobile phone is Android. If it's Apple, it won't work. So, ha 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 ha. Not so smug now, are you, Apple owners? It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car. The infotainment screen is angled exactly 7.5 degrees towards the driver. That means that it follows the exact arc as your arm, so you can still touch the far corner. See, Germans, they have a department to think of these things, yeah? All versions of the 2 Series Gran Coupe get fully independent rear suspension, whereas rivals from Mercedes and Audi, the lesser models, get a simpler torsion beam setup, which quite frankly isn't as good. You can get this car with a unique paint scheme you can't get on the 1 Series. It's this rather lovely blue colour. It's called Snappers Rocks, and it's named after a surfing place in Australia. Reason being that when the water breaks over the rocks, it creates this lovely blue colour. How is that? This car has over-the-air updates, so if you buy it and then you think, oh no, I forgot to tick the box for high beam assist, I really want it, you can actually then pay for it and it'll update the car over the airwaves, and you'll then have that feature. Magic. Also, you're going to be able to get this car with Android Auto, yes, for the first time ever, and it'll be a really good Android Auto system with full widescreen, display stuff in the heads-up display, and you'll be able to connect your phone to the car without having to use a wire, which is awesome. That comes in July, and you'll be able to use those over-the-air updates to fit it retrospectively to the car if you've already bought one. If you think it's a little bit dark in here and you'd like more lighting, you can get this car with an optional panoramic glass roof, which looks like this. I think I'd probably have that fitted if I were you. So then, what's this 2 Series like to drive? I'm going to start off with what it's like in town, and I'm going to put the adaptive suspension into comfort mode, slacken things off. So even though this is the sportiest model, it's actually good over these bumps. Look, manhole cover there, yeah, no problem. Oh, reasonably comfy. As for the manoeuvrability, well, it's got a decent turning circle, this car, it's dead easy to manoeuvre. One thing I do notice is that you do get quite a bit of blind spot caused by these thick pillars. Also, the view out the back window isn't as good as on the 1 Series hatchback. It's just a little bit smaller, the window, but it's not bad to tell you the truth. Relaxing, easy, especially if you've got the automatic gearbox. I have very little to complain about. What's this 2 Series like to drive on the motorway? Well, the reality of driving on the motorway, especially in Britain, is that you encounter traffic jams quite a lot. So this particular car that I've got here is fitted with the optional active cruise control. I'm just going to engage it, and I can press this button here to keep me a safe distance from the car in front, and because I've got the automatic gearbox, it can actually shunt me along in stop-start traffic. I should point out that this car does have lane keeping assist, so if you start to weave over the white lines, it will steer you back into lane slightly. What it doesn't do is that thing where it hooks you up to the dead center of the lane so that you can basically let the car steer itself and you just sort of monitor it. Now you get that system on the high level BMWs like the 8 Series, but they've not made it available on this lower level 2 Series. Seems like a bit of an oversight when Mercedes do it on their lower level cars, and people might well want that feature. I certainly do. Big mistake, BMW. Anyway, that's enough of that. So let's see what this car is like the rest of the time on the motorway. So we're moving along now at a decent old speed, and actually it's really comfy, it's quiet, it feels stable. Finally then, let's check out the economy. So I'm averaging 9.9 litres per 100 kilometres, which in miles per gallon is this amount. Not that great. Finally then, let's see what this 2 Series is like when you encounter a twisty road such as this. So I'm going to put the car into sports mode, which sharpens the throttle response, adds a bit of weight to the steering, and because I've got the adaptive dampers, stiffens at the suspension as well. And while I'm at it, I'm going to put the automatic gearbox in manual mode and change gears myself using the paddles. I'm going to get involved in this, people. Now, according to BMW, its cars are, you know, blah, 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 the ultimate driving machine.
We only make the ultimate driving machine.
Blah, 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 give you joy.
We don't just make cars, we make joy.
Blah, 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 more marketing bull. But really, does it drive like a BMW should? Is it fun? Do you know what? It drives good. Obviously, this is the sporty 235i, so it's a bit sharper than the low-down models, but does it feel sharper than the equivalent Mercedes or Audi? Maybe a bit, yeah. I can't fault it really. It feels secure, it feels solid, it feels trustworthy. Easy to drive pretty quickly actually. And you do feel keyed into the car through the steering, the pedals and stuff like that. It is a fun car. Yep, tight corner, gripping going round even though it's wet. 4-wheel drive doing its job. This car is bringing me joy. See? The marketing men, they didn't lie. So then, what's my final verdict on the BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist it. You see, it's a really, really good all-round car. It's just that it doesn't look quite cool enough for a coupe. Maybe they should have just called it the BMW 2 Series Gran. Heads-up display that displays lots of information like speed. So, it's more Gran than coupe, that's good. I make myself laugh.